Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. My name is Joshua Stark, and you know my family so you know me, but I'm going to tell you today about internal affairs, and I'm going to tell you about the importance of internal affairs. So I've been a police officer for 11 years with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and I have been a internal affairs detective sergeant for the last 5 months. So internal affairs, I'm going to present you all with a question. What if police officers had no checks, no balances, could do whatever they want? They could beat whoever they want up, right? They could say whatever they wanted to somebody. It's not a pretty picture, right? If you ever seen Judge Dredd, it's kind of like that. They can do whatever they want. Well, that's the purpose of internal affairs. That's the reason why we exist, to keep that integrity to the public and that trust. If any of you have ever dabbled into criminal justice, you know that if the public doesn't trust the police force is rendered ineffective. So, Las Vegas Metro, it's got 4,200 commissioned officers. It's got 1,600 civilian staff, almost 6,000 members. In 2018, 2,400 complaints of misconduct, 740 full investigations. That's what Internal Affairs investigated in Las Vegas Metro, 740 full investigations. Now, IAB is made up of 13 detectives, 5 sergeants, 2 lieutenants, and 1 captain. 21 people for 740 full investigations in 1 year. I just want you to have that perspective so you know how busy Internal Affairs actually is. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the protections that police officers have. So when I signed up to be a cop, I'm like, why are cops protected? Why do we have all these rights? There's a reason for this. I'm going to tell you why. Because we sign up for this, right? We put the badge on and you're like, why are they protected? And you ask me now, what protections do they have? Well, cops get a 48-hour notice before an internal investigation can bring them in and question them. I just can't go out there and question them. They get 48 hours to prepare. They get 2 representatives. So typically it's a union member or an attorney that they can come with them. I can only question them about what I've noticed them about. What that means is I have to tell them what I'm going to question them on. I can't just say, I'm going to question you about this arrest you made. And yet when I bring them in, why'd you hit that guy in the face? I can't do that. I have to tell them what I'm going to ask them before I ask them. Also, I have to present them with all the evidence I have, everything. Okay? So it's a little different than criminal trial. Now I'm going to tell you why. So if you work construction, and you get a DUI on the weekend, but you don't, no call, no show, you make it out in time. Does your job even find out about that arrest? No. If you get into domestic violence, unless you no call, no show, your job is not finding out about it, right? In most lines of work. Police officers, though, as soon as they find out you're a cop, handcuffs are going on, doing an investigation, they make all these calls and everybody's coming and IAB's coming out. And now they're getting double dipped, right? Because now not only are they going to be arrested for the DUI or the DV, but they get discipline that's equal to that charge at work. That's why they're protected. There's a court case from 1967, Garrity versus New Jersey. It's called the Garrity rights, the Garrity protection. What this case has to do with the fact that these officers, their 5th Amendment was taken away. So they were accused of fixing tickets. And the New Jersey Police Department said, you have to tell them the truth in prosecution. So they did. If you don't, you're going to be fired. So they told them the truth. Not only were they fired later on, but then they faced criminal prosecution. They got double dipped there. All of you as civilians, you can plead the 5th. You don't have to say a single thing. Cops don't, not to internal investigation. So Garrity rights are, if you come in, you have to tell us the truth. Because we're admonishing you saying, if you do not tell internal affairs the truth, you will be fired. But the criminal side of the house, which is not us, you can lie to them as a cop or plead the 5th. As weird as that sounds, because they're guaranteed 5th Amendment rights, that's Garrity. Anything you say in internal investigations can't be used against you in a criminal proceeding. If that makes a little bit of sense there. So they don't get double dipped. They come, they tell us the truth, that's okay, and then you can plead the 5th on the criminal side. So if you're in a DV, domestic violence, you have to come and tell us the truth or you're going to be fired. Well, sometimes you get fired anyway, but we're not going to be kind of into that. But that's kind of why they're protected, because they get double dipped. So now that you know a little bit about officers' protections, let me tell you about our internal investigations. So once we've interviewed the subject employee, witness employee, we've gathered all the evidence, we write a very long investigative report. And at the very end are these findings. You'll see 6 findings here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. This is the end of the investigation. First, no policy violation. Typically, this investigation is it's stopped in preliminary investigation. We've reviewed body-worn camera. There's nothing there. We just close it out. Second, exonerated. The complaint of conduct did occur, but it was right, legal, and just. They did what they're supposed to do, but it wasn't a policy violation. Third, unfounded. This is most often. The investigation found that the complaint of conduct did not occur. Fourth, policy failure. This is when the cops did something, by policy, but we've determined the policy was wrong. It's kind of morally wrong something, and this is how we fix our policy. Fifth, not sustained. We couldn't prove or disprove that this occurred. Just didn't have enough. Our burden of proof is clear and convincing evidence. Lastly, sustained. This means you did it. Our investigation found you did it. Once a cop's sustained, it goes to labor relations within our department, which is 2 attorneys, and those 2 attorneys decide on their discipline. Termination, major suspension, minor suspension, or just a written reprimand. That's how our investigations work. And I just want to tell you really quickly about what we don't do. Hollywood paints us in the picture of as in suits and ties, right? Coming in, taking people's badges and guns in those shows, right? We don't do that. We don't do any of that. We don't arrest anybody. What they do get right, though, is the fact that all cops are scared of us. Because cops, once they become a cop, their career is everything. So I've seen cops shaking, crying, everything else. And there are guys that run into gunfire, not afraid, when they come into our investigations and they're scared. So I want to leave you with that. Thank you for listening to me. It's a hard job. It's a very difficult job, but it's needed because we keep the integrity within our department and within all agencies. So, thank you for sitting. I just want to show for the class my cousin Austin, my uncle Kevin, brother Luke, wife Christy, my Grandma Stark, Aunt Janelle, my dad, my sister Eliza, and my mom. Thanks, guys.